Though we have all traveled many uncertain roads, we have always recognized something wasn't right. We searched high and low, yet our paths had never intersected. Our desire to seek truth, then to speak true, has brought us all together. That thing of ours is rooted in truth, because truth is the only unshakable foundation. In the greatest book, it states in John 8:32, "For ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free."
Truth is a powerful force. It is the foundation on which all great achievements are built, and the bedrock of trust and respect in any relationship. When we are rooted in truth, we can be confident that our decisions and actions are grounded in reality rather than in speculation or wishful thinking.
The pursuit of truth is not always easy. It requires courage, perseverance, and a willingness to face uncomfortable facts. But in the end, the truth is always worth it. It allows us to make better decisions, to build stronger relationships, and to create a more just and equitable world.
From politics and world events to entertainment and pop culture, we've got you covered. We'll explore our history and the stories that matter to uncover the truth that lies at the heart of each one. With our fingers on the pulse of the news cycle, we'll provide the insights and analysis you need to stay informed and engaged. As we stay rooted in truth and let the truth guide us in all that we do, let us be willing to listen, to learn, and seek out the facts, even when they challenge our own assumption or belief.
Let us never forget that the pursuit of truth is not just an individual endeavor, but a collective one. Only by working together
With honesty and integrity,
can we build a better future for ourselves
And for generations to come.
This is That Thing of Ours. How's it going, everybody? Thank you for joining us today on this Wednesday, 27th of November, 2024. We'd like to thank each and every one of you for joining us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X, Rumble, and Pill.net.
and if you haven't already, please take a minute and give us that virtual hug. If you're over on Rumble or YouTube, hit that thumbs up button. If you're over on pill.net, take that red pill. If you're over on X, smash that heart. And if you're on Facebook, you have like 7 choices.
Clickety, clickety.
Clickety, clickety. I see Chachi has to run out for Thanksgiving and tells us to have a great show. We will miss you
Awesome.
tonight, sir.
Hey, Chachi. Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks for stopping by.
Got
Say hi.
F.
We
Clint in the
appreciate that.
house.
Yo, F. Clint, what's going on, man?
We got Aaron in the house.
Hey, Aaron, how you doing, brother? And we got Mike. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. I know it's a day
Yes.
early tomorrow, but we're not going to be doing anything. Kay and I are actually going to be taking a break, a much needed break over the course of this weekend. So, yeah, we're going to go ahead and wish each and every one of you a very happy Thanksgiving. And I hope that you're able to count all of your blessings and that you have many, many more for each Thanksgiving evermore.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. There's Miss Jenny.
Jenny!
Watch out for the frogs, Jenny.
Watch out for the frogs, Jenny.
There's Miss Steph.
Hey, Steph, how you doing? Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy
Happy
Thanksgiving,
Thanksgiving.
fam. We love you all so very much. So,
So,
is everyone cooking and tired and ready for
Yeah.
food to be over with?
the cooking shenanigans have already
Yeah,
started.
the
over here.
cooking shenanigans have started.
Mm.
But it's worth it in
Yeah,
the end.
now I got to smell all this.
Well,
I had to wait.
I
Bunch
know.
of bullshit.
What do you want to eat?
Whatever. Yeah, eventually. Not like eventually. I'd like to eat now. But you want to make me wait.
I know. I know.
Damn the man. Making me wait.
Oh, goodness. Anyway.
Hey, skunk. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, skunk.
All right. Are
So-
we ready?
Yeah, you ready?
All right. We've dilly-dallied enough.
I know. Let's hit it. Can you do that, please?
Pete Hegseth is definitely the man for the job at the DoD.
Ready?
Good old Dodd.
Let's go.
Let's
In
do it.
2001, I joined the United States Army. What does that flag mean to you?
I served this country. I know men who died. I know I bled for this country, so it means a lot.
I served in the military myself as well. And I have the same feelings as you about that flag. My wife and I brought all of our kids to the Patriot Awards this year. This republic we're talking about, if we can keep it, will soon be theirs to keep. 3, 4, 8, 9, This is not yoga, Gwen. Yes, this is. Feeling real right about now. Pete is headed to the Hudson River to swim with Navy SEAL.
How are you feeling after leg 2?
Better. Here we are, just roughly 700 meters from the Gaza border. Israel just discovered terror tunnels for the first time ever up north. We're traveling with the Prime Minister.
Look, the only thing that gets Hamas to release the hostages is continued military pressure.
That's 5 months where the war just sort of continued. In June of 2020, I was in Washington, D.C., carrying a riot shield during some of the riots. Across the board, really, it's not just a blue state or a red state phenomenon. The believers in school choice should say parents should be able to choose which one it is for their kids. Breakfast with Friends, hearing from the people, not the pundits, talking about the people, the pulse of the people. So we're here to talk to the people this morning. The people share their ideas every morning as friends, Republicans, and across the aisle as Democrats.
It's really quite simple. It's about family values. It's about being a patriotic American.
Grammy D quoted the preamble of the Constitution to me. Looking back on stuff is always fun. Yeah. We're glad you've been with us all 4 hours. Have a great Saturday, everybody.
Thoughts?
That was a nice fluff piece.
I know.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have much on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
You ready?
It was a nice fluff piece.
I think he really is gonna.
We'll see.
Yeah. I think he'll be fine.
I think he'll be fine too.
Yeah.
I'm not too worried about it as of right now. I ain't no use in worrying right now.
No. You ready?
We'll see how it turns out. Yep.
Can you read that, please?
Kevin O'Leary breaks down the moment Comrade Harris was finished.
Ready?
Yes.
The root of this mistake actually came very early on. They didn't run a process. They made an excuse of $317 million in the kitty. They kept the same campaign manager and said, we will anoint this faulted, broken candidate who was inconsequential in her vice presidency, lost in 2019, as you detailed, complete loser in 2020, never could articulate anything, had no compassion for people and her own advocates. Let's not forget this. I remember the minute this happened, I was in Europe. She went on to The View. All those women wanted her to win. They threw her a softball. They threw her a second softball. She was so weak as a candidate, she couldn't even answer that she would do something different. It ricocheted around the world. She was finished.
Well, let me
They
go.
will never do that again.
Thoughts?
She was.
Hey, Chops.
Hey, Chops. She was finished the moment they didn't have the ability to rig the election anymore. We knew she was done. She's a pointless candidate. She was really just a filler. And now they're saying that she's not even allowed to run ever again, which is hilarious. Do you have something on that one?
No.
No. Yeah. So apparently a big Democratic donor said if you can't even manage the budget on a campaign, then you can't manage an office. So maybe we'll start to see some changes happening over there on the Democratic Party in terms of maybe doing something rational for a change, in terms of who they put up, and that will help them out tremendously. But the whole Kamala Harris thing, she seemed like a sacrificial, well, I guess the scapegoat that was sent out to the wilderness on her own pretty much from the get-go. She never had the support that it really looked like she was going to need. But then again, there was no way to support that one and make it look like a viable candidate, as far as I could tell.
Yeah.
You know, but then again, they gave us George Bush.
Yeah.
Junior.
You ready?
Yeah. Junior.
Can you read that, please?
El Cajon mayor is fighting California to allow his police to help fight the border crisis.
Ready?
Yep.
Hey, this is Bill Wells. I'm the mayor of the city of El Cajon. And there's a lot of talk about sanctuary cities and the sanctuary state of California. I want to make it clear right now that El Cajon is not a sanctuary city. We're going to do everything we can to work with the federal government to help ease this immigration problem, help solve this problem. The problem we're facing in El Cajon is that state law, state of California law, says that if a police officer does his duty that we're asking him to do by complying with the federal government, that police officer can be charged with a felony and lose his pension. So that puts us in a really serious situation, because it basically takes frontline police officers and puts them in the middle of this political crisis, this political argument between the city, the state, and the feds. I just want you to know we're working on this problem. I'm getting legal opinions. I'm reaching out to organizations to help give us legal assistance in fighting the state of California. I'm going to fight the state of California tooth and nail over this. I want you to know that I am going to do everything I can to make El Cajon part of the solution of this horrible immigration problem and not be used by the state of California to circumvent federal law. One of the things that you could do would be to send emails to every assembly member and every state senator in the state of California and the state attorney general, Rob Bonta, and of course the governor, and tell them that you do not want to be part of being a sanctuary state and that you will rise up like the rest of the nation has done and throw these guys out of office if they don't comply. I need your help. Let's fight this thing together.
Thoughts?
All right. Excuse me. So El Cajon is like, it's been very much a part of this battle forever and a day. So this little red area, I don't know if y'all can see that, this outline, that's El Cajon. Here's San Diego, and then here is the border, and there's Tijuana. So they definitely get hit all the time with people that cross the border. I remember that we had seen some people, even when I was on Camp Pendleton, when I first went in, they had those signs out there, showed the illegal border crossing site across the freeway, because that's where they went across, because there wasn't anybody there really to look at any, to make sure that there weren't people hiding in the bushes running up north. It's just the way it is out there. So San Diego's got one hell of a fight. And the fact that the mayor of El Cajon, California is sounding the clarion call saying, hey, look, we are going to be fighting for President Trump and getting all these illegals out of here. So there's going to be divisions. There's going to be splits. And this could probably cause one of those things where in the Bible it says that it will be father against son and mother against daughter and brother against brother. It could really cause a lot of problems because of all the confusion in terms of like who President Trump wants, to be here, or how that process is going to work. And I think that, until President Trump is in office and he can say, okay, here's the deal, people are just left guessing right now. And there's so much disinformation out there, from the very people who warn us about all the disinformation. They do us a service by letting us know that they're giving us all of the disinformation. Thank God they're courteous like that. But anyways, those people are the ones causing the disinformation within the communities, where those people just need to chill out and find out exactly what President Trump says once, he says go and the starter pistol goes off.
Yes.
Hey, Mike, what's going on, man?
Mike.
Yeah, got Mike
Happy
here
Thanksgiving.
today. Happy Thanksgiving.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Can you read that, please?
Maybe. Carrie Lake and Newsmax debunked false report before the legacy media ran the story anyway.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
You are engaged with the transition. I understand you're doing reps here to maybe take a Newsmax gig. What are you going to do?
That reporting yesterday was absolutely fake news. I mean, think about how bad the media is. You cannot hate them enough, Steve. They reached out to me, asked if I was negotiating with Newsmax. I said, no, get better sources. You're wrong. Apparently, they reached out to Newsmax. Newsmax said it's false, and they run the story anyway. I mean, we cannot possibly have enough ire toward the absolute fake news than we already have. It's thankfully it's starting to collapse. They'll just run any fake hit piece for clicks to try to disparage me, and I'm used to it. That's the beauty of being in the crosshairs of the media. Much like what they've done to President Trump, they've done that to me. It's been a nonstop character assassination, and I'm looking forward to the crumbling of the mainstream media and some of these liberal outlets that have just lied to the people for so long. That's why I'm excited to when President Trump started talking about these FCC licenses and removing them, and why are we giving these out free to people who are lying and organizations that have lied to and divided our country? So I'm excited about that aspect of what President Trump's going to do when it comes to his policy. And I think Brendan Carr was an excellent choice to head up the FCC. That's going to be exciting. As for me, I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to be doing. I want to help help in any way to make America great again. That's been my mission since I dared to step into politics, and be useful in any way that I can. I'm actually taking a little time to just breathe. I've been going nonstop, Steve, for 3.5 years, leading an incredible grassroots movement here in Arizona. I will tell the people listening this, especially if you've got some of the leftists who despise our movement, I'm not going away. As much as they want me to go away, I am not going away. And so they can't get rid of me. There's nothing they can do to get rid of me. They can write as many nasty stories about me, filled with lies, as they want. We are not going away. We're going to stand up and continue to fight for this country and see to it that President Trump's agenda is pushed through quickly, and that we do move into the golden era for this wonderful, great country of ours.
Thoughts?
It's really interesting to think about what's going to be happening with Carrie Lake, because she has been a very big supporter of President Trump and the Make America Great Again movement. Hey, Carol.
Hey,
Working
Carol.
and lurking tonight? Cool. Thanks. Lurk away. Lurk away. Anyway, so she kind of pointed out the main reason why the legacy media continues to lie, and that's because they want clicks. They need if it bleeds, it leads, and whatever's going to make people want to read the story, they're going to put it out there, whether it's true or not. They have no moral compass in terms of what journalism should actually be. They think that journalism is just merely trying to get viewership, so that way they can show their advertisers that pay them that it's a worthwhile investment to bet on their brand of information.
Bullshit.
Yeah,
That's the word you were looking for.
I mean, it's the word I was
Bullshit.
trying to clean it up some, but yeah, that's pretty much it.
Well, call a spade, dear.
Well, I mean, it is what it is. It's journalism.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
They've created their own meaning.
And I'm a
for
pilot,
it.
by the way.
Well, no, they've created their own meaning for it. You know how they're always changing the definitions of everything? Well, they changed the name of definition to big old fat liar, liar, pants are on fire.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
You ready?
Yeah.
Let's listen.
Jesus knew in his mission that the Father had assigned suffering to him for a greater purpose. You know what this means for you as a believer? That even in your own life, God has assigned suffering for you. Why would God do something like that? Because it leads to a greater purpose in the end. It leads to something beautiful. Yes, Jesus had to suffer, but because of his suffering, we're now forgiven of our sins. We now get to be in the kingdom of heaven for all eternity, worshiping Jesus in perfection because of the suffering that was assigned for him. So just because you don't understand the suffering in your life doesn't mean you can't trust God. Keep following Jesus.
Thoughts?
There you go. All right. I was giving you a
My
little bit of
mouse
a
disappeared.
Oh, Lord. Oh, that's awful.
I hate when it does that.
So he died for all of our sins. And if there's anything that we should start our thanks during this Thanksgiving for, it would be for the forgiveness of our sins. And the fact that this prayer that this country has been moving towards, the fact that we are, finding our way back to God, is another reason that we should give thanks for, because all of this is going to play together, and it's going to show the beauty and magnificence of everything that was ever God's plan. A lot of people believe that there's going to be so much doom and gloom, but I think at the same time, the way people misunderstood that Yeshua, the Messiah, wasn't going to be a great military victor. He was going to be some kind of, that's what they wanted, but that's not what they got. They actually got a savior that was set before us to bring everybody, give everybody that chance to be grafted onto the vine, because of him dying for our sins. And so as we all start to move back towards the vine and we get grafted into it, it's the beauty that I believe that God seeks, not the punishment. I don't think that he gets off on the punishment. I know that a lot of people can get that one twisted real easy, but I don't believe that that's the case. I believe that he wants us all to find love and joy and happiness.
I agree with you 100%. Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you read, please?
Senator John Kennedy says, Stay deplorable, my friends.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
So we went through an election, Senator, where their closing argument is that if you like Donald Trump, you're garbage. He's a fascist, a racist, and a Nazi. That was their closing argument. And I noticed a lot of the Hollywood elite. I'd be negligent if I didn't ask you about this. You know, Alec Baldwin calling the American people deliberately ignorant. Sharon Stone saying that Americans are ignorant, arrogant, and adolescent. You have a New York state legislator that wants, New York to secede from the Union along with Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Vermont. What is your reaction to all that? I think you're going to have a very unique take.
Here's what I think. I think these people are goofy. They have the right to their opinion, but they're just goofy. They hate George Washington and Thomas Jefferson and Abraham Lincoln and Dr. Seuss and Mr. Potato Head. They think our kids ought to be able to change genders at recess. They carry around Ziploc bags of kale to give themselves energy. To me, to each his own. To me, kale tastes like I'd rather be fat. Now, these people are entitled to their opinion, but they have an unwarranted sense of moral and intellectual superiority. They think they're smarter than and more virtuous than the American people. And they think we're not real people. But we were, and we are real people. And in this last election, we got real mad. And we sent a message clearly, unequivocally. And my message to all my friends and my enemies in America is happy Thanksgiving and stay deplorable, my friend.
Thoughts?
So the fact that these people have a sense of superiority, self-superiority, it's exactly what got them there. And because of that, they won't get that figured out until it's just put right in front of their face, and they have no choice but to look at it and recognize that they've been wrong. And once they recognize that they've been wrong, that's when the healing can just begin at that point. But that's why, just like he said, we have to stay deplorable, my friends.
Mm-hmm.
What? Oh, Aaron says, we're real people? That's an odd phrase for sure. It is an odd phrase.
I think it was for the left.
It was for the left, that, we're real people and you don't have to.
And we got pissed off.
Yeah, we got pissed off. That's
And we spoke
what happened.
loudly in this vote.
Yeah, because they think we're dumb because they clearly run it better than everybody else. That's why they're the ones that are in charge.
Yeah.
Just ask them. They'll tell you how brilliant they are. It's amazing.
Hey, Grandma.
Hey, Grandma, how you doing?
We're so excited.
How you doing,
still.
Hope?
Grandma Hope in the
Let
house.
every day be full of thanks and giving. Amen.
Amen.
And happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, Hope. Are you ready?
Yes.
Can you read that, please?
Megyn Kelly calls out Comcast for timing of Troll Ogres MSNBC spinoff.
All right.
Aaron says, he said, we are and were real people. It is weird.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he was a real people.
I don't know.
Maybe his status changed. Don't know.
Let's listen.
He blinks his eyes.
Well,
like
I
Dana
do
Carvey.
think it's very interesting that Comcast chose now to announce it's going to spin off its disgusting cable channel. And it's not because NBC News is doing so well and they just want to separate the struggling MS from NBC. NBC is also doing very poorly. We have beaten NBC News on its YouTube feed for months now. They're in a lot of trouble over there. So they're not doing well either. So why spin off MSNBC? It's because it's the disgusting, wart-covered evil troll that came to live with you and wouldn't leave. They're looking at it like, ew, my God, what? We don't want our vaunted Today Show anchors to have to associate with those troll ogres over there who, as I point out, are on their bellies licking the boot right now. Mr. President, please let me back in the circles of power. No wonder they want to spin this thing off.
Thoughts?
Yeah, we're. What are the stages of grief? Where does groveling come in? I mean, not groveling, but Bargaining. Maybe they're already at the bargaining phase.
Yeah, they could be.
Oh, Mr. President, please. We
Please,
didn't really
please.
mean it. We just, just kind of played the game. It's a game, right? You win.
Exactly. It's funny.
It's kind of funny. Yeah,
It makes this Thanksgiving a little bit sweeter.
We shouldn't want to see people grovel, but they should probably be groveling because, well, in the end, they were traitors to their nation.
Yes.
And they told lies to the people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't like them.
Exactly.
All right, are we ready? Or are we not ready? We're waiting.
Ready.
Okay.
Ready? I got
Yes.
sassy. Earmuffs.
Earmuffs.
Who let Kiki back out in public?
I just have to remind you, don't you ever let anybody take your power from you.
How many you had, girl? Where's Doug?
You have the same power that you did before November 5th.
Girl, you about to have a liquid lunch date with a floor. I don't know how many sheets to the wind, but you got enough to go sailing.
And you have the same purpose that you did.
Girl ain't sauced. You sloshed like a slushy.
Have the same ability to engage and inspire.
You recorded this in Big Law. I recognize the curtain.
So don't ever let anybody or any circumstance take your power from you.
It's giving somebody spiked Glenda Gale's eggnog. Midnight ramblings of a blistered housewife. Giving more sauce than a Buffalo Wild Wings. And 2 tickets at the Happy Hour Hiccup Symphony. Heard of Christmas with the Cranks? Giving Christmas with the Crumbs. God, dog, can you believe a large portion of America wanted her to be president? Why would you post this? Girl, you lost. Go home. Go on an AA meet or something. Shit.
Wow. I mean, look, I get trying to drown your sorrows, but I mean, at least be smart enough and have your people. Of course, then again, I guess you can't afford people anymore. Otherwise, they would have tried to tell you, yeah, don't do it when you're this drunk, Kamala. Yeah, you don't know how to speak when you're sober. So yeah, just yeah, maybe politics just isn't your thing. Find a new time to find a new profession, ma'am. Anyways, Mike says she definitely looks high as hell. Yeah, high, drunk, just kind of all of it. All of the above.
Woo!
That's what I'm going with.
That video made me laugh so much. I watched it
Look,
twice.
it's sad. I mean, they used and abused her.
Mm-hmm. I know.
I mean, it's kind of been happening her whole life, apparently. But the thing is it's like they used her inability to recognize that they were playing her this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of embarrassing. But
yeah.
Then again, Icarus, flew too close to the sun. It's always kind of a thing that we should concern ourselves with.
Yeah.
Aaron says she's lit like a Christmas tree. Best stay away from the open flames. Yeah, that'd be dangerous. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mike says, who knows? Maybe the coke they found in the White House was hers and not Hunter's. Yeah, that is something that's been circulating around, that it was actually hers. It was, what was it? Did she have powder on her nose?
Yeah, and
she kept on
touching
she kept like touching her nose, and she always missed like the powder. Yeah, she missed the powder. So yeah, the speculation is out there. I don't know. Maybe they were doing rails together, on the
knows?
White House toilet or something.
Yeah.
Whatever, however you do it when you're in the White House. I'm sure there's special procedures because you're better than everybody else.
Yeah.
Aaron says they rented her. Remember, she used to get paid to fornicate strangers for money. Yeah, well, I mean, she got paid to do it differently than the way she was before.
Yep.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah.
Let's listen.
All right.
I'm actually starting to believe that Democrat Party was a fucking cult. These people are diehard for some dumb shit. They still trying to negative talk about Trump with this, oh, my abortion, taking women's rights. The man is fucking putting it in black and white right in your damn faces, man. It ain't a group of people he's fighting for. This man is showing every motherfucker night just in our country, through the entire world. He's fighting for every American citizen in this country. The man is doing it whether you black, white, or Latino. The man is doing it whether you're a man, a woman, or a child. I see a girl get on here talking about, oh, my child disabled, and I ain't gonna be able to pay for it. Come on, man. First it was he was going to take away women's rights and do all this. Oh, now he's attacking disabled kids. You people are really lost. And I'm going to say what Trump said. Sorry, but I'm not sorry about saying this. If you don't like it, leave. Fuck it. Just go ahead and leave the country. But you're going to realize something. Ain't no country greater than this one, especially now that Trump's back in office. It ain't make America great again no more. It's make America the greatest fucking country now. Y'all live on that one.
Thoughts? They have acted like a cult. They really have acted like a cult. By the way, I haven't seen him before, but he certainly was impassioned. What was his name, or did you already close it?
I already closed it.
Jeez. Anyways, so don't apologize. You said the S word. Watch out.
I did.
Anyways, they have acted like a cult because really they're not willing to consider anything other than the dogma that they've been told. It's a strange religion that doesn't speak the truth and doesn't try to help anybody. Yeah, it talks a good game about, oh, we got to save the gay baby whales or whatever, project is of the moment they happen to come up with. So that way they can always keep people bouncing from one, what is it? Thing to get behind to another, because really when people start digging into any of it, it's all BS. And that's how they do it. So that's how they keep their cult members there. But the gig is up. It's coming to an end, and
the gig is up.
The gig is up, and they're going to have to really, like, their people are going to be hurting, and the people who've been pulling the wool over everybody's eyes. Yeah, I don't see how it's going to work out well for them at all. They won't be able to walk down the street.
No. Q said that.
Mm-hmm.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Let's listen.
All right.
Spentois is absolutely losing it over the election and lashing out at his followers. Here's what he posted in advance of the election that people are now trolling him for.
If you won't accept Trump as your president, then leave. Okay. Like, you didn't have to tell me twice. Like, I was planning on leaving anyways.
Remember that. He's planning on leaving anyways. Bye, girl. Don't let the door hit ya.
Was that supposed to be threatening? Was that supposed to be your way of one-upping me? Because in reality, you're just telling me something I've already thought about doing. Trump is a scary man. Like, he is terrifying. So if he becomes president, I have no problem leaving. If I saw Trump approaching me on the street, I would run in the opposite direction. My fight or flight would kick in and I'd turn into Usain Bolt. He's literally talked about starting all-out wars, getting rid of the LGBTQ plus community, destroying reproductive care, getting rid of immigrants, even though this country was literally built by immigrants.
What? Trump started no new wars as president last time and says he wants to negotiate ends to some of the conflicts the U.S. is currently involved in. In getting rid of the LGBT community? Spencer, what are you talking about? Trump is pro-gay marriage and appointed high-level gay officials to his administration last time around. He does favor some restrictions on transgender issues, but nobody's talking about getting rid of anyone. You need to touch grass. As far as destroying reproductive care, Trump is pro-IVF and wants to make it available to all taxpayers, actually, and says he doesn't favor a federal abortion ban and wants to leave it to the states. So, not sure what you're on about, but okay. And getting rid of immigrants is such an absurd thing to say. You are conflating legal, lawful immigrants with illegal immigrants, with undocumented immigrants. Those are not the same thing. And it's actually really offensive to legal immigrants for you to suggest otherwise. Now, I don't support Trump's plans for mass deportations. I think deportations should be targeted and focused on people who are actively harming the communities that they're in. But it's not too much to ask that when you critique Trump's immigration views, you remain tethered to reality, at least somewhat.
Moral of the story, I don't feel safe around Trump. Kamala, on the other hand, I look at her and I feel safer. If I saw Kamala Harris walking in my general direction on the street, the Secret Service would literally have to stop me from running into her arms and having her hold me like a baby.
Spencer, that's not normal. If you like Kamala, fine. If you voted for Kamala, fine. But like, that's not a normal level of emotional relationship or attachment to have to a politician. Now, of course, now that Trump has won, people are trolling Spencer and asking him when he's buying his plane ticket, when he's going, when he's following through on his clear promise to leave the country if Trump wins. And he's suddenly obfuscating or kind of making it sound like, well, I was just saying maybe, while also wishing terrible things on Trump supporters.
Here we f***ing go with the Trumpies in my comment section. I mentioned the other day that if Trump got reelected as president, I have no problem leaving the country.
Well, no, you didn't say I have no problem doing it. Well, you did say that, but you also said, yeah, I'm planning on doing it. So now people, and it's not all Trump supporters, it's also people like me, are checking in to ask how your plans are going, when you'll be following through on these promises, because we're sick of annoying liberal people whining and complaining about how they're going to flee the country if Trump wins, and they never do. It's not unreasonable for people to ask that you actually practice what you preach when you're an influencer who reaches millions of people online every day.
And the second Trump got reelected, my comment section started looking like this. Hey, so did you book that flight? So are you leaving or what? Are you not leaving this country? When are you leaving? Did you pack your bags? Pack your bags. Book that flight, buddy. When you leave? First of all, Trump isn't in office yet. We still have until January. Second of all, clearly I haven't packed my bags and left the country yet. But I'm not surprised that you Trumpies would think that the second that man got reelected, I'd be flying out of the country first thing, considering half of you can't read above the first grade reading level.
Yeah, Trump supporters just can't read. They're just illiterate. How many times do they have to lose before the liberal elites realize that their elitism and arrogance and smugness is exactly why so many people from such diverse walks of life are all trending towards Trump? But keep insulting everyone, looking down on everyone. It's working out great for you.
However, if I didn't make myself clear before, let me reiterate. I said I have no problem leaving if Trump is reelected. And bitch, I meant that. I've already been looking up working visas in other countries. I've also been getting in contact with friends from other countries.
Good. Go. And don't come back. Let's replace you with an immigrant who wants to come to this country and work hard and loves America and will add more value to our country than hysterical screaming into the camera with unhinged propaganda. Now, here's where this video gets really, frankly, evil.
But if anybody should be leaving, or I guess the proper term would be evacuating, it should be you guys. Because it looks like there's a hurricane coming your way. And you know, I hate to say it, but it looks like Hurricane Raphael is going to be touching down in a lot of red states. And I'm sure a lot of you airheads are still under the impression that these Democrats are the ones that made a weather machine to destroy the red states. But bitch, nobody has time for that. But you know who does have time for that? God. If this isn't a divine sign from the Lord himself, I don't know what is.
Babe, this is actually evil. You just gleefully took joy out of the fact that a natural disaster is heading the way of people who disagree with you politically, including 40% odd of them who didn't vote for Trump, by the way, and tons of children below voting age. And regardless, just because people voted differently than you doesn't mean they deserve to have their homes destroyed or be killed in a natural disaster. That's actually evil. Have you no empathy or compassion for your fellow Americans at all anymore? And to say it's a sign from God not only is really ridiculous and offensive, also makes no sense, because presumably God's hand is at work in the presidential election, if you believe in that kind of thing. The truth is, you're just engaging in low IQ, hateful trolling because of your distorted political worldview that you've formed through consumption of incoherent propaganda. So yeah, people are following up to see if you're going to leave the country like you said you would, because we would all be better off.
Thoughts? So sensitive Spencer there was sensitive. Wow, what a rant. But that's what they sound like. That's what they always sound like, and that's why we don't have a problem with them leaving. I mean, by all means, nobody's trying to stop you from leaving. And now that you're confronted with what you said, you have to find a way to try to weasel out of it. You're still trying to sell yourself on the idea that Trump might not be inaugurated. You think that you're justified in trying to do your own January 6th kind of bullshit. You know, I know that these are all the things that are going through your head, sensitive Spencer. But the thing is you're not going to be able to do that. And what you were shown on TV was actually a Fed front making it look like the Trump supporters were doing that. I understand that you're still brainwashed, and it's still understandable at this point in time, but it's not going to be acceptable moving forward a whole lot longer, because really, in the end, everything that you believe and that you've stated as what your beliefs are just ain't true. And as he pointed out very well in that video and broke it down point by point, that really everything that you believe just isn't true.
Exactly. Exactly. Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
How about some Kelly?
All right, I'm ready.
Can I show you something in the Bible that might just completely change your life today? Oh, yeah. It's that good. Oh, what is it, you ask? Philippians 4:6. You know, which tells us, don't worry about anything. Instead, pray about everything. Tell God what you need and thank him for all that he's done. Yeah, Kelly, we know that verse. We know it well. What could you teach us about that we don't already know? Okay, well, let me show you. First, since you know this verse so well, can I ask you a question? Have you been worried about anything lately? You know, like finances, food, the kids, the spouse, the job, the everything. Of course you have. Of course you've been stressed out. You see, let me explain something to you. When the Bible tells us not to worry about anything, it's not telling you that to tease you. It's telling you that because it's actually possible. And the fact that we still have worry and stress and anxiety in our life today shows us that Paul knew something that we seem to miss. Oh, what is it that we missed? Now you're asking the right questions. You see, the truth is this verse will radically change your life. But for so many of us, we stop when it says don't worry about anything because we're like, yeah, right. Not possible, Paul. Let me remind you, I may not know what's going on in your life today, but I know what was going on in Paul's when he wrote that. You see, Paul wrote those words, don't worry about anything, pray about everything, tell God what you need and thank him for what he's done, while he was in prison. No, not some modern American prison, watching TV in the rec room. No. Chained to a guard, being fed barely enough to stay alive. No free time, just you, your chains, and the guard. I know. It sucks that Facebook has been censoring your posts. I know the cost of groceries went up a little. You see, to understand what Paul is really saying here, you got to read this verse backwards. Let me show you. Starting in reverse, what does the scripture say? Thank God for all that he's done. Let me ask you a question. Stress, anxiety, depression, fear, are any of those from God? Absolutely not. So what that tells us is to get rid of stress, anxiety, depression, and fear. What we really need more than anything is to simply be in the presence of God, because in his presence, those things cannot stand because they're not of him. Okay, great. So you're telling me when I'm stressed and anxious, I just need to jump in the presence of God. That would be amazing if there were like magic words to make that happen. How do I get in the presence of God? Oh, I'm so glad you asked. You see, the truth is there are actually magic words that put you right into the presence of God anytime you want. You want to know what they are? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Remember in Psalms, it told us we enter his courts with thanksgiving. Thank you are the two most powerful words you could ever say. What I'm telling you is when you feel stress, anxiety, fear, depression, just start thanking God. Well, what do I thank him for? Anything. And I'm feeling stressed. I got some anxiety. Worry is taking over me. Father, thank you. Thank you for the air in my lungs. Thank you for the roof over my head. Thank you for my family. Thank him for anything. Because when you start saying thank you, it will put you in his presence. And all those things that are tormenting you cannot stand in his presence. But now let's keep going. In reverse, it says, thank him for all that he's done. Then it would go, tell God what you need. What do we know about going to God for our needs? Are we beggars or are we believers? You see, Jesus paid the price for us on the cross 2,000 years ago. He paid for our salvation, our healing, our deliverance, our marriage, our finances, our kids, our work, our job, our everything. What that means is anything that you need from God, you do not have to beg him for it. You can simply tell him, thank you. You see, a beggar's prayer will be full of the words, please, God, if it be your will, if you could, because a beggar doesn't really know if they're actually going to receive anything or not. But a believer's prayer, oh, son, that sounds different, doesn't it? A believer's prayer will be filled with the words, thank you. Father, I thank you that you're my provider. Father, I thank you that you've already made a way. Father, I thank you that I am healed. You see, speaking faith is not about what you can see. It's about what you believe. And when you fully believe that Jesus paid for everything for you, you won't have to beg him for it. You'll just say thank you. And that goes right back to our last line. When I start feeling stressed and anxious, I start thanking him. Father, thank you that I'm not stressed. Thank you that I'm not anxious. And what are we doing? Telling him what we need. But we're not begging. We're coming as believers. Oh, this is good. Are you getting it? But we're not done. Let's keep going. We thank him for all he's done, even while we're telling him what we need. Wait, hold on. What does that mean that we're doing? I'm telling God what I need, and I'm thanking him. I'm speaking faith. We're praying. And what was the next line? Pray about everything. And if you're thanking God all day, you already are. And then what was the first line? Don't worry about anything. Oh, come on. How you going to be worried about anything when you're in God's presence, thanking him for all the things he's about to do for you? You're not going to be worried ever about anything. Don't you see? This verse will completely change your life if you let it. So let me encourage you today. Don't worry about anything. Instead, pray about everything. Tell God what you need by thanking him for what he's already done. And what has he already done? Everything. And think about that for a minute.
Thoughts, sir?
Hey, Dad.
Hey, Dad.
Always love Kelly. Man, he really brings a message home every single time. That guy's absolutely amazing. And what a great message for this season of Thanksgiving. It's
See what I did there?
I see what you did there. Yeah, that was pretty good. When we go to God, it makes sense. The first that we approach the throne with thanksgiving. We must be confident, give him thanks for everything he's done. And then what we pray for, moving forward, we have to believe that. And we have to believe that it's going to be the exact opposite of all of our fears, our depression, everything that brings us down. We know that he's going to follow through with his promises. And so we must keep those thoughts out of our mind, brush them off, get them away from us, and keep focused on the thanksgiving and the belief that we have that he is going to follow through. And we know that that's going to happen. And again, it may not happen right away, but it's where that faith of the mustard seed comes in. Just a little bit of faith over a long period of time can provide so many more miracles than we think. And as we get into the habit of really getting in tune with those prayers, it will be amazing what we can do, is kind of how I feel about how all that works. It's a practice. It's a practice of getting close to our Creator.
Amen. Amen. That was perfectly said.
Thank you, ma'am.
You ready?
Yep.
Let's listen.
All right.
That the reason that he was running again to be president was partially because he wants to sort of milk money out of the government, which is what he did the first time. He was running to stay out of jail. That's what he was doing. If we're being honest, okay?
So if we're gonna be honest, Sonny Hudson, and I think most viewers agree, you're a racist, you're a hateful person, you're a sexist, you degrade women who vote for Trump, calling them uneducated. You bully others who view different things than you. So if we're honest, like those comments that you should be reading on your own freaking show, a lot of people don't like you because you're a hateful person. If we're honest, right? And like I'm honest, I'll always think Sonny Hudson, or Hosen, however you pronounce your last name, you are a racist. That's my honesty.
Thoughts?
Among many other things, she's a terrible liar. And
He didn't milk no damn money out of the
I know,
government.
in comparison to everybody else who's ever been in the government, I'd say that he's probably down there at the bottom of somebody who probably didn't take any of the benefits.
He donated his damn check the whole 4 years.
I know. The government does more stealing than anybody else around here, and they don't like the competition.
I know.
And they don't like somebody coming after their grift that they have going on. That's why they don't like them. And that Sonny Hussein, Hitler, whatever it is, whatever her last name is, you've been living off of that grift. You've been getting paid off of it. That's why you don't like them. We see that, and so will the rest of the country very soon.
And we
Good
see
luck.
who you really are.
Yeah, we know who you really are. Yeah. Better catch that flight.
Yeah. You ready?
And take a sensitive Spencer with you too.
Yeah, exactly. He needs a ride.
He needs a ride.
You ready?
Yeah.
I got Willie Robinson talking to Tucker.
All right.
The girls on that show, they were laughing. They said, "Oh, this guy Donald Trump, says he's running for president and all that," and they're laughing and they're kind of, making like it's a joke. And they said, "Tell you what, I think he's resonating with a lot of people," and you could just see them like, "Oh." Like they thought I was going to laugh and be joking. I said, don't underestimate the power of celebrity, because I was like, I'm just new to it, but man, when everybody knows who you are, it's a big advantage. Because the thing about Kamala Harris, she was a vice president for 3.5 years. No one knew how to say her name.
Including her in 2020. I called her Kamala.
Yeah.
Which is what I thought her name was. And the White House press secretary attacked me as racist. Which, okay, fine, but it really was totally accidental.
Right.
And so this kid on our staff found tape of her calling herself Kamala and then Kamala. And I just thought, like, who can't pronounce her own first name?
Thoughts?
What do you mean she can't pronounce her own first name?
It's always changing.
It's always changing. Huh. Wow. You mean like Joe Dirt changed his name to Joe Dirte?
Yes.
Kind
Don't
of like
try and church it up, son.
It's French. Yeah. Yeah, we got our own very own Joe Dirt, but nowhere near as endearing or smart.
I know.
And
I know.
Yeah, they made her vice president.
I know.
Would have been better off with Joe Dirt.
Yeah. Yeah. You ready?
Yeah,
How
yeah.
about
Just
some-
recognizing how terrible this movie is. They're giving us all the terrible actors.
I know.
We need better actors.
It's getting better though.
I mean, it is getting better.
Because we got this man.
All right.
Bobby, let's listen.
Awesome. Here we go.
And if you're a part of Big Pharma, the most valuable asset in this country today is a sick child. They don't want to kill our children. They just want to keep them sick and dependent on chronic disease drugs for the rest of our lives. And they now have so much power over this, the exemplary democracy of the world, that they have been able to make us the sickest country in the world. We have the sickest children in the world. If we don't win this election for a president who's going to make America healthy again, who will bring me into Washington, D.C., reclaim our agencies from the pharmaceutical companies and from the big ag companies and the big food companies. Chronic disease is going to destroy us, and it's going to destroy us soon. We need a president who's going to come into office in this country and who is going to dismantle this corrupt merger of state and corporate power. And don't you think that you deserve a president of the United States that is going to protect our children? And don't you think that the United States deserves a president that's going to protect our freedoms? And don't you want a president who's going to make America healthy again? And who's going to make America free again? And it's going to make America once again the greatest nation and the moral authority around the globe. And you need to go to the polls and get your friends there and get Donald Trump and me into Washington, D.C.
Thoughts?
Obviously, it's a little bit older of a video.
But I thought the message was really needed.
The message is the important part, and that message is that the big pharmaceutical companies, surprise, surprise, everything that they're selling is designed to keep you sick, that you're never supposed to get out of whatever pill it is that they've been given to you. We know that medicine can be real and that people can be healed from it. Hell, we've seen what the ancient human beings were able to do in terms of, the horrible things that our medieval ancestors had to go through, and yet they survived, and they didn't have all of the same problems, and their teeth were better than so many people's today. See, that's a real problem, and that tells us that there's something going on that's keeping us from being healthy. After all, the dental records tell a tremendous story, and the fact that American people have so many problems and that they need so much of this covering up of what's on their teeth and changing and adjusting and all that other crap tells us that we're not truly healthy. And so when Kennedy gets into position, I look forward to the big pharma getting spanked. Getting spanked good and not having any of the power, because they had a little bit of power and they decided to abuse everybody with the lies that they told everybody. Absolutely deplorable, truly deplorable, not the deplorable that they call, everyday Americans.
Yeah.
They really are what they accuse us of.
They are, aren't they?
They are the deplorable ones.
You ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Could you please read that, sir?
Net zero, what? Net zero carbon projects in a nutshell.
Ready?
It is a waste of all of our money and a grift for the people who promoted it.
I know.
Okay.
Let's listen.
All right.
Let's look at a couple of examples that show just how much of a disaster these projects can be. First of all, there's the Boundary Dam project in Canada, promising to capture 1 million tons of CO2 annually. It captured 43% less than projected at a cost of $1.5 billion. The plant uses so much energy to run that most of the time it actually produces more carbon than it captures. The Petronova project in Texas. This one cost $1 billion. It was meant to capture 1.6 million tons of CO2 per year. But after 3 years, they shut it down because it wasn't financially viable. And the carbon that it did capture, well, that was used to extract oil. I shit you not. Massive public investment in projects that just don't deliver. And in the UK, we're seeing exactly the same thing.
Thoughts?
Wow. You mean that all of these green projects weren't really going to be helpful?
Huh.
And that they cost lots of money for an experiment, so it was basically just a waste of taxpayers' dollars?
I'm shocked.
Who could have seen that coming?
Nobody.
Wow. Wow.
Because we're all so dumb and deplorable and garbage.
That we don't know that these projects that they keep telling us that are going to save the planet actually don't ever do anything but waste a whole bunch of our money that we didn't want to spend to begin with.
Yeah.
Wow. Huh.
Interesting, isn't it?
It's almost like we need a Department of Governmental Efficiency.
Yes.
That would be amazing.
Doge for short.
Except for the fact that he's kind of in on the green grift.
Who?
Elon.
Oh.
I mean, let's be honest here.
Well, he also said that he didn't want Tesla to get any money back.
Yeah.
Or anything for being green.
Right.
So we'll see.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see.
You ready?
Yep.
Can you read that, please?
Maybe. Dave Smith puts Chris Cuomo on blast.
Ready?
Yep.
Joe Rogan is bigger than every single show at CNN combined and gets paid more than every single person at CNN combined. And he was 100% right about this thing through the entire time.
No, he
Listen,
wasn't.
yes, he
No, he
hold
wasn't.
on.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me get this point out
Tell
here.
me what he was right about.
Okay, how about, you know what you just revealed last month on Pat's show about ivermectin?
Yeah.
Joe Rogan was saying that, and you were smearing him for saying that.
Yeah.
You literally said he's taking horse dewormer.
Yes.
He should be ashamed of himself. You
Yes.
pleaded with your audience to not take it.
Yes.
Then you come back around and you go, hey, Pat, you know what I just found out? Turns out this thing isn't for animals. Turns out humans are. But Chris,
that's
a
not-
5-minute Google
but that's-
search and you would have known that.
First of all,
how do you not
hold on.
apologize to Joe Rogan?
Listen, the people who make ivermectin disagree with you.
Hold on. What do they disagree with me about?
That the drug should not be taken as a standalone for COVID-19.
I never said it should.
That's what Rogan was saying.
No. He did not. No, listen. See, this is the thing, Chris.
Yeah,
That
what
is
is
a lie. That is
Really?
a
So what did he
blatant
say?
lie.
What did he
Joe
say?
Rogan. So you just pretended that I said it's a standalone for COVID. No. Here's what it always was. Here's what Joe Rogan said. My doctor prescribed it to me, along with several other medications, just like your doctor prescribed it to you.
Thoughts?
Wow. Boy, shots fired on that one. Whew, somebody called the ambulance. Wow, that was fun to listen to. And he needed that. But I think that a lot of this, he's been doing a lot in terms of waking people up. You know, that guy on the far left that's been kind of giving all these little tiny red pills to everybody on random spots. I think that this was another one of those. It kind of seems like one of those deals that were made for those people who didn't want to get wrapped up, kind of save their legacy kind of thing, is what I'm seeing. Because I know who these people were before, and I know that they wouldn't ever just let it slide. That they would get more aggressive and try to control the conversation, and he'd try to shut this other person down. But that's not what happened. He kind of withered a little bit and allowed this other guy to truly speak the facts and the truth. So I do believe that there was a lot of kind of intended red pills for this. President Trump has been good friends with the World Wrestling Entertainment industry for quite some time. And I would venture to say that there's some really good story writers that are amongst and kind of orbit around that planet. And I think that those people would also be really good for writing a good story. And this just kind of has a WWE smack talking kind of thing about it, doesn't it? F. Clint says, all I heard was suck it, Chris. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. In a nutshell, that's what it was. Aaron says they are verbal bullies, the CNN crowd, and are scared of guys like Rogan that can throw a punch. Oh, yeah, they are. That's why they've never let anybody on that would be able to have that discussion, because they know that if people were able to, really bring the facts and not get interrupted and have a civil discussion, that we wouldn't see 80% of the things that we see right now, because we would have been able to have that, kind of discussion that people in a republic have.
I agree.
Just a thought.
Yep. You ready? Can you read that, please?
Yes. Mike Benz on digital MK Ultra.
Ready?
Mike, you had shared this idea, not just reactively labeling individuals, but you can now preemptively do so through cognitive vaccines.
Yes. In the post-2016 environment, when misinformation and disinformation became really sort of a government public policy initiative, it started to infuse all the universities with hundreds of millions of dollars of grant funds that come from everywhere. They'll come from the National Science Foundation, the Department of Defense. They'll come from the State Department. And this is nominally about stopping the spread of misinformation online. Department of Health and Homeland Security will fund tens of millions of dollars to a coterie of universities who specialize in psychology, sociology. They'll work with data scientists. If you can't censor everything, you can collectively inoculate people from believing opinions the government doesn't want you to believe. I sometimes jokingly refer to it as digital MK Ultra, because it's sort of like this psychological control program, but it's laundered with government dollars into universities.
Thoughts?
So this is just another retelling of what we had seen for the Twitter files, when Elon Musk went into Twitter and just kind of exposed everything that was going on. I'm looking forward to that Department of Education exposure, but I have a feeling that we're not going to see the paperwork for the exact kind of MK Ultra project that was being funded by the federal government until the Department of Government Efficiency comes in. And I have I just have a feeling that they're going to make an example out of the Department of Education as one of the worst things that has ever been, one of the worst frauds that's ever been used against the people of this nation. And when all of it comes out about how they've been lying, about how they've been using their education and understanding of human nature to use it against the people of this country, it will be very clear that these people are in fact enemies of the state who have been co-opting its power for their own benefit, both financially and personally, professionally, to raise up the ladder. And see, the thing is that's not what this whole thing's about. So I look forward to the drawing and quartering of the entire Department of Education, because what we find in the mess that comes out of that drawing and quartering, obviously I'm talking in symbolical terms, but what we're going to find in all of that mess is going to really lay the groundwork as to how we can more easily see the corruption in every other single department within the government. And that's why it's going to, within the first year, probably lose about 50% of the people in the government.
You know what? I agree with 1000% of everything you just said.
Thank
And
you.
it's sad that you had to say that you were saying it metaphorically.
Well, it's where we are.
I know. But I'm just saying. You shouldn't have to.
But just in case sensitive Spencer's listening.
Oh, okay. Are you ready?
It's Thanksgiving week. Yeah, nobody's listening.
I know.
Not nobody. We know y'all are listening.
Yes.
Anyways.
You ready?
Yes.
Can you read that, please?
Americans who have never been vaccinated for anything are the healthiest among us.
Ready?
We knew this.
I participated in a control group survey where we looked at the health of the genuinely unvaccinated, children who've never received a vaccine in life, and adults who've never received a vaccine. Yeah, can you believe it? They're out there. There's approximately 100,000 adults in America who've never received a vaccine in their entire life.
And that, by the way, means their pregnant mother wasn't vaccinated when they were in the womb, and they didn't get the vitamin K shot or anything right at the time of birth, right?
Dr. Merritt, you have done your homework. That is correct.
Yeah.
And that's very important. The vitamin K shot has benzyl alcohol, which a baby's liver cannot handle. And it also has a spike of aluminum, which is also not good for a baby. And so what we did is we compared the health of these two groups, our national data on just people's illnesses, diabetes, heart disease, other forms of chronic illness that just make life really hard. And we looked at the unvaccinated and compared that. And the unvaccinated are virtually entirely healthy for life. Their chronic illness rate among the children is approximately 2%. That means 98% of all children who are unvaccinated are healthy for life. Like they don't have anything. They don't have ADHD, diabetes, obesity,
For
asthma,
life.
Epilepsy, cancer. We found zero of these things, with the exception of some minor, you'd find like maybe a little bit of ADHD, but then it was just that one condition. Whereas in the vaccinated group, you find that multiple children have many conditions and the conditions are severe. And so the data was clear to us that the unvaccinated are the healthiest people on the planet. And the way it made sense to me was that I looked at our national data from the 1950s and it matched the unvaccinated. Like basically the unvaccinated today are as healthy as children were in the 1950s before all the shots.
Thoughts, sir?
I know that we've been avoiding all of these the pharma the pharma shots that they've been trying to throw at us for quite some time. I remember the last one was God, what was it? The Ebola that came in, or no, it was the year after the Ebolas that I think was the last one. It's been like over 10 years since I've had any of those things. And I know that I've been healthier. I used to say it all the time. I get sick every time y'all give me one of these damn shots. I don't like taking them. Well, do you want an entry into your service record book? It could have an effect on your career. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, but I don't like it. Well, if you if you care about your career, you're going to go ahead and get these shots. And that's a bunch of bullshit because that's coercion, but the thing is most people don't understand that that's coercion that we really shouldn't be putting on people. But I think that a lot of people are going to understand that we don't take this shit anymore and we're not going to force it. And the government should never, ever have the right, no matter how much it's proven to be effective. The government should never have the authority to tell people that they have to take a medical anything, whether it's experimental or not. You lost that right, government. So guess what? If people decide to take your jabs in the future, you better prove beyond a shadow of a doubt and convince them. Who was it that came up with the polio vaccine?
I can't remember his name, honey.
I want to say Salk. Polio vaccine. Anyways, what I know about him is that he took it himself.
Yeah.
He tested it on himself when he came up with the vaccine for it. And that's really what I expect to see. You know what? I believe in this product that I've created so much that I'm willing to use it on myself and use myself as the guinea pig, because I don't have time to sit here and wait for government organizations over the course of 10 years to deal with this terrible problem that's affecting so many people. I think that that's the kind of level of confidence in somebody's work that I want to see, to be able to believe whether or not to consider whether or not I want to use their petro drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron says, imagine you don't inject shit into newborns the second day they draw air and they aren't messed up. Huh. Strange.
Right?
Yeah. Wow. Imagine that. That's weird. Yeah, you mean when we put all these, metals in their body that they don't react to that? Wow.
Wow.
Almost
Shocking.
sounds like medicine.
I know.
Whew. Weird. Good
Are
job, doctor.
Really? Are you ready?
Yeah.
How about some Craig?
All right.
If I can just be honest from a pastor's perspective, one of the most common complaints I hear from women is, well, my husband's just not a spiritual leader. Well, if he was like Pastor Craig, you don't know, you don't live with Pastor Craig. He ain't all that, okay? But, he's not a spiritual leader. Well, when you say that, there's nothing in him that wants to lead spiritually, because he recognizes you don't look up into this area. So if you take whatever he does that's even remotely spiritual and applaud him for it, like he says, let's go to church. You're like, oh, I felt so close to you whenever you said go to church. Really? He may have never prayed before, but it's Thanksgiving and he's like, God is great. God is good. Thank you for this food or whatever. Afterwards, you go up to him and say, hey, when you prayed, like that was, oh, wow. And just whisper in his ear, I like that. And then breathe heavy or something like that, And I'm kind of joking, but I'm not really. That if you start to say, wow, that was like special. He's like, hey, well, next time I'll pray longer, and louder and all this kind of stuff. So build him up with words of affirmation, because the way you see him really helps determine who he becomes. When there's a confident man, almost every time there's someone who believes in that one.
Okay, I want to go first on this one,
All
so
right,
I'm
go
not going to
first on
ask
that
your
one.
thoughts. So I agree with Pastor Craig so much. And I believe over the last, I don't know, couple of years, Santino has become such an amazing spiritual leader in our house. Yes, stop shaking your head no. And please.
What?
You were shaking your head no still. And I love it. I love it when he prays before dinner and when we pray after dinner and when he's talking on the show about the things when it has to do with God and his analysis, because he is absolutely amazing. And everyone out there, tell your partner every day something nice that you appreciate about them, because when you appreciate someone, they want to do more and more and more. It's like I cook dinner and Santino will wash the dishes and it makes me feel so guilty. But it's because we're a team. And when he does the dishes, I say thank you so very much, because he's so amazing. Remember to tell your partner how important they are to you. Just because you're in that relationship doesn't mean you should quit dating. That's my thoughts. Thoughts?
I appreciate all of those kinds words. I see where there's improvement, but that's who all of us are, is we see where we need to improve and not where we've done good. And that's something that I probably need to be working on. But at the same time, I know that I miss a lot of things. I know that I forget. I know that I'm certainly not the kind of person that can, spout off chapter and verse and all that other stuff. But Kay does encourage me. And she's gotten better about the encouragement part as well as time has gone on. And it's that very encouragement that does help in terms of wanting to open up and try to be that person. And in the end, that's what a lot of us just need is to know that we don't sound like a buffoon. And even when we do sound like a buffoon, we're encouraged by the fact that nobody starts out as an expert on the first time out, and that it's okay. Like he said, thank us for this food. It's okay. Nobody's perfect. So give people that chance, give them that chance to try to be the person that we want them to be. Because one of the biggest crimes that we commit on people around us is seeing them for where they're at right now, as opposed to seeing each and every person for the person that they could be. And if we treat people like the person that they could be, then they are encouraged to rise to that level, as opposed to getting beat down to not even bother trying in the first place.
I agree. Are you ready to listen to this?
Right.
So crazy.
All right.
I'm in a store here in Sweden. We have very strict food regulations what should and not should be put in food or edibles in Europe. So I went to this place called Matvärlden. Here they have this USA shelf, and I looked at Airheads. On the back of Airheads, you can see warning labels. Contains ACO colorants that can have negative effect on child's behavior and concentration. So, American candy comes with warning labels here in Europe.
Besides being disgusting, thoughts?
Well, we know that the food's not good. They've been telling us forever. That's why we stopped shopping anywhere other than the outside edges of the grocery store. And we try to get our food any way we can if we know that it's going to be a little bit cleaner. This ties in directly to all of the big pharma stuff. Everything that he said off of just that one little piece of candy there. We heard all the effects that it can have, the side effects. It's just as healthy as the medications that we get. So those are the primers. Those are the primers that they're going to paint the rest of people's, and more than likely children's lives or young adults' lives. And it's how they get them to be permanent customers to the big pharma machine, because they poison our food and our treats and the things that we enjoy. And then they turn around and give us a medication to put a Band-Aid over the problems that were created by the candy that was unhealthy to begin with, therefore making it so that way there's more side effects that they have to counteract with more of their own medications. Really, it's a beautiful business model if you were a heartless piece of shit.
Not a heartless piece of shit.
Yeah, it's a beautiful business model if that's who you are. I don't know. I don't know where they teach that heartless level of business.
I know.
I wonder where.
At every university.
No, the universities wouldn't teach people to be heartless.
Yes, they would.
No, because they're open-minded and they're trying to get people to think about how great, chopping off the twig and berries would be. Well, I mean, just listen to them. They'll tell you.
I know.
It's because you won't listen.
It's because I'm dumb.
Well, that's what happens when you think.
I know. Silly me. I'm just a silly girl.
Well,
Are you ready?
Yeah.
More on Joe Rogan. Ready?
Awesome.
So I don't know if you guys are tracking on the Joe Rogan dragon situation, but apparently Joy Behar on The View said that Joe Rogan believes in dragons and that's why his platform has bad information.
But we went from Walter Cronkite basically to this guy, Joe Rogan, who believes in dragons. I checked it. He believes in dragons. He believes in dragons.
Did you triple source that?
Yes, I did. And he also thinks that dragons, like dinosaur type of animals, roamed the earth when people did. So this is the type of really, really bad information that's going out there.
Oh my goodness. So immediately Joe Rogan goes on a tangent, like a complete tangent. He changed his Instagram account to say dragon believer in his bio. He also went to his Twitter account and changed it to dragon believer as well. And then he went on a tangent of posting a bunch of stuff. He retweeted a post that says, Job 41:18 TAC 21. When it sneezes, it flashes light. Its eyes are like the red of dawn. Lightning leaps from its mouth. Flames of fire flash out. Smoke streams from its nostrils like steam from a pot. And then he said, were dragons real animals? And then another one, he's like, evidence dragons were real, full documentary. And he reposts a tweet that says, imagine a large prehistoric lizard with 4 chambered stomachs like a cow, methane from chambers 3 and 4 feet into lung like holding bladders that vent from pits beneath the tongue. And he's like, I want to believe. He just went hard. He just went unbelievably hard.
Thoughts?
That's epic. Everybody's trolling The View nowadays, but I think it's all in good fun for us anyways. I mean, maybe not for The View. Maybe they don't see it as all in good fun. But she's the closed-minded one who isn't bothering to consider a different perspective than her own. And that would be that, what was called actually the person who coined the term dinosaur would call them dragons. And he said that they're one and the same. He just gave it a different scientific name, something outside of a biblical name, which would have been dragons.
Yeah.
Of course, then again, people also understood that the unicorn is actually a one-horned rhinoceros. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that the left, in all their brilliance, has just been able to overlook for some reason. And all the things that prove that the Bible is real. So, yeah, I believe in dragons too, and I believe that mankind and dragons walk the earth at the same time. Especially when there's
Job.
evidence. Well, yeah. Not only is it in the Bible, but on top of that, there's also evidence in Angkor Wat where they actually made reliefs of what we would call dinosaurs. And it's not the only place. There are images in stone of dinosaurs all over this planet. So just because she's closed-minded doesn't mean that Joe Rogan's dumb. She's just a ditz on The View.
Exactly.
Aaron says, I think that biological, with what we know about so many different biosystems, it isn't impossible. I believe for a fact that what we call dinosaurs are truly dragons.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. Every culture has a story about dragons. It's in Asia, there's dragons. In Europe, there's dragons. In the Americas, there's stories of dragons. And they all talk about having to go out. These dragons would go around. They would eat people. They would terrorize the villages. And some brave knight or whatever had to go out there and dispatch said dragon. Yeah. We know that Noah had two of every kind.
There you go.
So why couldn't they have been saved? We just had to kill them all on the back end because, well, they kept eating us. I don't know. Maybe we needed the left back then, and we'd still have Tyrannosaurus Rex eating us. Aaron says to Santino, and there is often fact found in myths and historical books. Some people like to think our ancestors were dumb, and that's a really dumb take. Yes, it is. Jenny believes the same. Oh, yeah. They have been trying to change the Bible forever. Not a surprise that the Bible's the truth.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Aaron says, birds. They have supposedly found preserved dino bodies with feathers. Yeah, I've heard that too.
Yep. You ready?
It's just a bunch of big chickens.
I know. You ready?
Yeah.
Can you read that, please?
Sean Hannity wonders if President Trump should pardon convicted felons every week.
Ready?
Yes.
I would like to see the transformation of the use of the presidential pardon. Maybe it's a Hannity idea that people like. I like it. Let Alice Marie Johnson find every person in jail that doesn't belong there and say once a week, Donald Trump makes an announcement. I'm going to pardon this person or that person. What are your thoughts, and what do you think Joe should do with Hunter?
Politically, it's a disaster because nobody ever supports any commutation or clemency action, whether it's a governor or a president. They just don't. They will say they will, but they don't. The truth is, Donald Trump showed a level of courage that very few presidents have ever shown. He didn't wait till his last day and let go with a lot of his buddies and friends that were in the clink. What he did was create an incredibly powerful program called First Step that recognized that some people don't need to be in prison anymore. It's a very expensive process. And so he created a program that looked at sentences, some that were way too long, and he actually started giving people what every person in prison needs to keep from just becoming unglued, and that's hope. Donald Trump did something that defied political gravity in that, and thank God for it.
Thoughts?
There's a lot of people in the prison industrial complex that are going to need that clemency. And there's a lot of people. I mean, let's think about it. Let's think about the woman who just lost. She put more people in jail because of marijuana offenses than any other attorney general of the state of California before her.
And they're still sitting there.
And they're still sitting there, even though it's legal in California now. Refuse to change that. So if those people are still sitting in jail and it's been decriminalized, not only decriminalized, but legal.
And a lot more stuff.
Like you can go to a store and buy it. Yeah. So really, Those people don't deserve to be rotting in jail. They deserve to have their life back. They deserve that opportunity to be productive members of society. See, the thing is I've met a lot of people who have served their time and paid their debt to society, and they do get it. Is there a lot of bad things about the prison system? Oh, yeah. But that's because it's run as a for-profit organization. That's not what we want. We don't want people making money off of other people who have done terrible things, deserve to be removed from society for any length of time. That means that we have an issue that we need to deal with. And that means that we need to open our heart up. And how do we do that? Well, there's programs all over the world, like in Germany, where they help people with psychologists, with work, trade schools, whatever it is. They get them animals to help them, service animals to help them, see something different about life that they never had before. And they have a lot of people who don't ever return to prison again. See, the way I see it is there's examples all over the world about a better way in which to do it. And those are the things that we should be looking at, because that's one of the things that made America great. One of the beautiful things about being a nation of immigrants is that we're able to draw ideas from every corner of this planet to be able to pick and choose the best parts that will make our society run as an example that other people would want to follow because of its success, as opposed to following what we say as Americans. Because if you don't accept the money, you're going to have to accept the freedom that we're going to bring and shit all over you. That's not the way we should be. We need to go back to being the example. And that will endear us to everybody else. And we won't have all these problems that we've had for so long. Aaron says, how can you outlaw a plant, man? How can any government claim the right to outlaw nature? Replace pot with tomatoes. I know. Yeah, I do see how absurd that logic is. Or, well, actual, what they expect us to believe is logic. It's just, we have believed it for longer than I've been alive. Or it got changed long before I even knew what was going on. I look forward to winning the way President Trump says, so that way I don't think we'll have to worry about this kind of shit ever again.
I know.
Aaron says, if you sit in your home and get high, that's dumb if you commit crimes that have demonstrable victims. Definitely possible cage for a bit while you pull your head out of your ass. Yeah. And not just sit in a cage, but actually, get these people something that's going to help them not do it again.
Exactly.
We should be healing.
Mm-hmm. Love your neighbor as you love yourself.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Could you read that, please?
May Musk is, hold on, I'm gonna have to blow this one up.
Okay.
May Musk is just a mom, and she sounds like she's awesome at it.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
People like your son.
Yes.
I mean, he walks around as the wealthiest man in the world, bar none. Do they like him, really?
I don't like the word wealthy or billionaire or things like that, because I think it's degrading. I think he's the genius of the world, and people are loving him for that. They don't, when they see me, they go crazy because I'm his mother, but they love him because of what he does, and they respect him, and I'm very proud of him.
I can't imagine what it would be like to be his mother, watching him go from PayPal to rockets to Tesla to all just one thing after another. You ever surprised about what he's coming up with next?
Well, every time I'm surprised, and every time I say, don't take on something else. And he doesn't listen to me. And then he makes a big change. And this Neuralink, people saying, why I don't want to...
I love you, Dad.
Something in my head. I said, well, you aren't paralyzed. So, or you aren't blind.
Good point.
If you're blind and you don't want to see, then you can argue the point. You don't have to have a chip in your head.
The co-founder.
Thoughts?
As long as I don't have to have a chip in my head. Yeah, he's a smart guy, and we should listen to smart people because they see things that the rest of us can't. But at the same time, we don't have to do everything they say, and we don't need to give up, go back on autopilot because we found a different group of smart people versus the smart people we had. Because in the end, we're all human, to include these smart people, and it needs all of us.
They make mistakes too. Well,
They make mistakes too, and no judgment. I mean, it's the way
we're
it
not
works.
here to judge.
Yeah, but we need to make sure that we all have that chance. But Elon Musk, being the brilliant man that he is able to truly, provide some solutions that other people never even would have considered. Some of them may be challenging, other ones may not be challenging at all. But we have to take everything with a grain of salt and really feel about the long-term implications of everything that's being presented to us. And it's that very long-term thinking that will protect and prevent further episodes like this in the future.
Exactly. Let's see. Hold on. I have to bring a comment over from Chops.
Okay.
Give me 1 second.
One Mississippi.
I know.
Took longer than a second.
I know. It's not easy.
There we go. Chop says, remember that tomatoes had been classified by the government as vegetables to be able to tax them. Yeah, but they're fruits.
I know.
Yeah, the government can't even tell the difference between a fruit and a vegetable. That's right. They don't know the difference between a male and a female either.
I know. They kind of suck.
Wow, and we give them our tax money.
I know.
What's that say about us?
We went on cruise control, but
Whew.
we're awake now.
Thank God President Trump's here. Maybe we can make fruits again. And boys again. Girls again.
Right.
Steph says, okay, I'm taking a break for a minute. Thought I would join the conversation. Been listening, me and the hubby both. Well, we appreciate y'all listening in.
Hi, hubby. Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Let's listen.
All right.
Most people you call partner, it's because of proximity. You didn't pick them. They was just around. Or your partners were because you only got with people because of pleasure. They not even your type, but the only reason you talk to them because they answer the phone in the AM. And let me not forget about the people who partner up because of pain. Did you pick them or did your pain pick them? Are these partners that are helping you with purpose, or did the dysfunction in your heart link up with somebody? What I want you to know is this season is about having partners for purpose, on purpose. Okay? So I need everybody to understand this as we move forth, because my burden, as I was praying for you during sabbatical, I was lifting you up every week, praying for your families, praying for your businesses, praying for your hearts, praying for your mind. Well, you don't know my name, but God does. And it is my job as a pastor to pray for you. As I begin to pray for you, I just kept seeing people struggling with this one word. This is why this is my burden: isolation. And I know you're in a room full of people right now, but the truth of the matter is many of you feel very alone. I know you got a big family, but they don't really know what's going on. I know that you have 2,964 Facebook friends, but none of them would actually be there for you if you lost everything. My burden is the people of God, more than ever in history, I believe, are becoming intentional with their isolation. And it's robbing them of their kingdom power.
So I wanted to say something real quick.
Oh, it's your face.
Yes. This is exactly why I love this show, because I know there are so many people here that I could call tonight and they would be there for me, even if I just needed to vent. This is not just a show. This is a family. And that means so much to me. And I just wanted to say on this Thanksgiving Eve that I love each and every one of you. And you guys make our day so much better. And just from the bottom of my heart, I love each and every one of you who is just lurking, each and every one of you who listen and don't say anything, and each and every one of you that comment every single night. You guys absolutely, positively make my day every single day. Thoughts?
All of y'all make our day better and brighter every single day, and we do truly appreciate it. It's trying to bring it back to the video here. It can be difficult at times. Huh? I'm missing something. Anyways, oh, okay, there we go. Anyways, it can be difficult at times when we're seeking love to be aware of the things that the universe is telling us. It can be a challenge because we know what we want, but it can cloud our vision in terms of what we should or should not be doing in any given scenario. And that's why it's extremely important to turn our journey over to God and really feel and hear on the answers, because in the end, those bad relationships that we've had in the past, we know that deep down inside our heart was telling us not to do it, but we chose not to listen. And see, that's what we got to stop ourselves from doing. Was we got to understand that what we seek is greater. What we seek is greater than what we're willing to accept right off the bat. And that's where we kind of screw ourselves over. So make sure you really listening to yourself and finding out, is this person truly right for you? And that will save so much pain and heartache and suffering in the future. We all deserve love, but we just have to have that patience and faith that the right one is out there for each and every one of us. We're not all destined to be alone. That's not necessarily the case. We just have to get in that vibrational frequency that prevents us from having those problems with all the red flags, and that we're gravitating more towards the one that we're supposed to be with.
Exactly. Get out of our own way.
Get out of our own way.
Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Let's listen to Josh.
All right.
I'm about to make you feel so special, you have no idea. Are you ready? This is in the Word of God right here. Just trust me. Just listen, okay? Romans 8:11. This doesn't get spoken about enough, by the way. If the spirit of him who raised Jesus from the dead dwells in you, he who raised Christ Jesus from the dead will also give life to your mortal bodies through his spirit who dwells in you. Do you understand what that means? The same power that raised Jesus Christ from the dead is in you. He says it right here in Romans. Really understand what I'm saying here. The same power that raised Jesus Christ from the dead is in you. You. God bless.
Thoughts?
Okay, I wanted to talk about the little skull emoji. The skull emoji. Kids are using it all the time these days, and they think it's funny. Ah, ha, ha, I'm dead. Laughing, they're always saying, and I don't understand, doesn't make any sense to me. But when you put it into kind of a biblical perspective, they're telling the truth. They are dead inside. They're dead because they haven't found that love. They haven't found that life that we're seeking, because we're not paying attention to that Holy Spirit that we are all filled with. That is one of our gifts, and we need to nurture and appreciate and love that gift, and we'll recognize that we're not dead on the inside. Really, what we're dead from is losing our connection to our Creator, but he can bring us back to life. And that's what this is all about, is we really are the walking dead until we find God, until we find that love that we have. But until we actually make that effort to make that connection, really, metaphorically, we are. But that's one of the reasons why he gave us the gift of the Holy Spirit, because of his son. Praise be to God.
Thank you, Steph. Thank you so very much.
Oh, thank you, Steph. Appreciate that. Yeah, make sure y'all are hitting that thumbs up.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Let's listen.
Let's
The
listen.
North Star proves that the Earth is flat and not moving, and I'm going to tell you how it's actually biblical. First, I'm going to show you a clip of the stars all circling around Polaris. Polaris does not move ever. If we're truly spinning at 66,600 miles per hour, while also circling around the sun, while also our entire galaxy is apparently like getting thrown through space at all times, Why does Polaris never ever move? Every other star moves except Polaris. Many biblical theories think that Polaris is actually God's throne room, and I'm about to blow your mind. But this is artwork of what we think God's throne room looks like. Pay attention to the green here, and it says in scripture that his throne room was like emerald crystal. Now let's watch a video of Polaris through a telescope. We're nowhere near done yet. There is so much more. When you look up, where does the word Polaris come from? The root word means heavenly. And remember, all throughout history, we had sailors and just people in general following the North Star for guidance. You always know to find the North Star, and it's the brightest star in the sky. So let's go back to the throne room for a second. If the throne room is the North Star, which I personally do believe it is, I want you to notice these colors. And the North Star sits directly over the North Pole. Does anyone remember the natural phenomena that occurs around the North Pole? This blew my mind. Look at the colors of the Northern Lights, the throne room, and then Polaris. They're all the exact same colors. We used to have these Georgia guide stones, and in one of the stones was this little channel, and basically it was directly over the North Star, and you could look through it at any point, and it just was always there because the North Star doesn't move. That's all that this did. In July 2022, someone randomly did this to the Georgia Guidestones. The very following year, our besties started pushing this narrative that the Earth's North Pole is shifting away from the North Star, because NASA was started by Freemasons of the 33rd degree, and currently it's full of those same people. So why would they be studying this? They somehow from Earth can figure out that the North Pole is tipping away from the North Star that's 33 trillion light years away. This is them trying to subconsciously program us to turn away from God, in my opinion. But wait, there's more. Here we have a very old flat Earth map, and this is what they thought the North Pole was. In Genesis, they talk about the Garden of Eden being where there was 4 rivers. Basically, they describe to a T what this mass of like land is, saying that this is Eden. If I am correct, and God's throne room is Polaris, Polaris sits directly above the North Pole, where it very closely matches the description of the Garden of Eden. And it makes perfect sense to me that the Garden of Eden would be directly under his throne room. Here's where it gets even funkier. Right in the middle is this landmass. Does anyone want to take a wild guess at what it's called?
Black Rock.
Does the name Black Rock sound familiar to anybody? I don't think anybody's ever been to the North Pole. The only thing we know it for is for Santa and his elves living up there. So not only is this a fictional magic character, but does anybody know the dark history of St. Nicholas? How about St. Nicholas and Krampus? Or the fact that they do exactly what the elites do to children? And we know that Freemasons' goal is to distort and do the opposite of everything that God does. So they placed a magical children herder up where I personally believe God is, in the garden of celebrities and elite people like Cat Williams, and I believe Kevin Hart said it at one point, say that the North Pole is like lush greenery and tons of like forests and flowers and things like that. One might say, well, why would they lie? Why would they tell us that there was snow up there if there's not? The entire thing with flat Earth, the reason that they would lie to us is because they're working to cover up the things that obviously make the Bible true. They hide things like this from us and then name massive evil mega corporations after them to laugh in our face and mock us. I don't know if I'm right about everything, but I just like to share my opinion, get your guys' feedback, see if anybody has anything to add to it. Like I said, these are just my personal opinions, and I just wanted to give you guys some of the things that make me believe in what I do. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys already knew all of this, if I missed points, this video is for entertainment purposes only. These are strictly my own opinions.
Thoughts?
So, like Randoon said, Polaris is in the same spot it's always been, as far as I know. It sounds like a bunch of science to me, telling us that the stars are moving. Whatever. All right. So, what's really going on? I'm pretty confident that if the North Star was moving, all of these photographers that do the time lapse, circle, watch the stars go around. Yeah, they'd be saying, "Hey, the North Star is moving." So something's changing, but we're not hearing that. See, it's just like when they gave us the Rona story. They were telling us, oh, everybody's going to be dropping like flies all over the place. Yet we never saw that really happening. It looked no different than the flu. And then we recognized that nobody was getting sick from the flu. So we kind of figured out what was going on. And I have a feeling it's the same kind of science that we're seeing with them telling us that the North Star is moving around. And getting back to what Aaron was talking about, did I read the Cliff Notes? Because I had that answer waiting. No, I've just seen the map. I know that it says that it talks about the black rock at the center of the earth. Yeah, I'd just seen that map before.
Yep.
So, yeah, whether or not it's a sphere or a disc, it's beyond my understanding at this point in time. But what I do hope is that as the government loses so much of all of the ability to prevent people from achieving their full potential, I have a feeling that we're going to have a lot of explorers. Exploring will be a thing again, and maybe we will be able to make maps great again and actually know what it looks like without some interference from a bunch of corrupt assholes who have been giving us some lie about everything so that they can pad their pockets with all the money that they've been wasting on all of these things they've been telling us that they've been doing, but really haven't been getting anything done.
Exactly. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Let's listen.
All righty.
It took me 28 years to realize who's the real villain in The Wizard of Oz. We grew up believing the Wicked Witch of the West is the villain of the story, but is she? Think about it. Her sister gets murdered and her shoes are stolen by Glinda, shoes that are silver in the original story and belong to her mother. And what about Glinda, the good witch of the South? She literally used Dorothy to kill the Witch of the East. Not to mention she avoided telling Dorothy she could have used the shoes to go back to Kansas.
You've always had the power to go back to Kansas. I have. Then why didn't you tell her before?
But rather, she left Dorothy going through the yellow brick road to meet the wizard, who actually left the kingdom right after. And by the end of the movie, by using Dorothy, she eliminated all her competition in the realm of power. So who's the real villain?
Thoughts?
Who was the real villain?
Interesting, right?
Interesting. Yeah, it's such a deep story The Wizard of Oz has been.
It is.
And people are still trying to unpack it. Of course, then again, I think that that's pretty much the premise of Wicked, the movie that they put out. Yeah, so interesting theory. Yeah, it was kind of, she could have told her she could go home, but then again, then there wouldn't be the journey. So, yeah. I don't know how to take that one just yet. Aaron says the witch was manipulated too. It was the puppet master, the man behind the curtain. Could be. Maybe he was just tired, ready to retire from behind the curtain.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? Aaron says, how did they drop the man behind the curtain? How did they drop him?
Oh.
He flew out in a balloon.
In a balloon. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Let's listen.
All right.
You ever heard Soros's interview with 60 Minutes where he says, I see myself as a god? Have you ever seen this interview or what he says?
No.
Really?
He said he sees himself as a god.
Oh my God. Jamie, do you mind pulling up the quote? I think it's, if you type in LA Times Soros God, if you type in LA Times Soros God, when you hear what he says, it's like the second to the last paragraph all the way to the bottom. The guy asks a question, about who he views himself as. I want to quote it properly, exactly what he says in this
Is there
interview.
a video of it?
Thoughts?
Of course he thinks he's God. That's why he thought that he could go about trying to collapse the financial institutions of countries around the world and to come here and do it too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not that, we didn't need the Federal Reserve to go away, so kudos for that one. But we know that what he probably really wanted was to put us in some kind of system that he was at the top of, or to transition us into whatever the Federal Reserve was going to give us. But that's not going to happen now. Yeah, they've been telling us this whole time. And when people have gone out of their way to say this is what they're doing, they say, well, that's not what he really meant. What he meant was this and that and the other thing. Yeah. And now it'll be just that much easier to say, no, they were actually telling us what they were doing. You just didn't want to hear what you were being told. Yeah, we don't need you to be making too many more decisions moving forward. Ready?
Exactly.
Yeah, you're done with work. Bring on the gobble gobble.
I love that. Are you ready?
Yep.
Can you read that, sir?
Babylon B says, how to talk to your racist MAGA uncle this Thanksgiving.
You ready?
Yep.
I had to have something for Thanksgiving.
Of course.
So, you're heading home for Thanksgiving, but your family supports Trump. Not good. You're probably wondering, how can I show them I'm a good, tolerant person, and they're all terrible, intolerant people? And how can I find common ground with these rednecks who are literally Hitler? Well, you're in luck. Because I, too, am a good person who likes to share my superiority with those around me. Today, we're going to show you how to talk about Trump with your racist uncle this Thanksgiving. First, try slowly and articulately explaining to him how he is a racist, a bigot, a Nazi, and just an overall garbage person. You can even use simple visual aids if you want to. Next, you can help educate your backward, bigoted family members by handing out copies of Robin DiAngelo's White Fragility. This thoughtful holiday gift will endear them to you and open up the door for more conversation later. Now, sometimes your family might disagree with you and attempt to use far-right tactics, such as facts and logic. Counter this with a powerful haka dance. Fourth, you can easily get through to these MAGA bigots, or maggots for short, by reenacting the entirety of Hamilton. Let it never be said that you threw away your shot. Here's a good one. When your arguments just aren't getting through to them, try screaming at the sky. Simple, but effective. Tip number 6. When you're encountering opinions you disagree with, just run away to a secure location. You might call it a space that is safe. If someone follows you there, then go somewhere else, and so on and so on. And finally, and perhaps most effectively, just start a good food fight. It works every time. Use these simple tips, and you'll convert your MAGA family in no time. Because you're right, and they're Nazis. Good luck out there, fellow member of the resistance. If you have any other helpful tips in dealing with your maggot family members, just leave them in the comments down below. Or shout them at the sky. Works every time.
Thoughts?
All right, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving. Make sure you piss off your liberal friends and family this weekend because, well, really, they need to know that America's going to be made great again.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, maybe we shouldn't piss them off. They're already angry and they're really, quite honestly, on the edge mentally, and we don't want to poke that bear always, especially during the holidays. Hey, Brother Bill, thanks for joining us. Anyways, you know what, y'all? It's been great, and we truly appreciate it.
We're not done.
We're not done?
One more.
Oh, we got one more.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I thought we were okay. Well, there we go.
You
Anyways,
ready?
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Yes.
Oh, jeez.
Ready?
Yeah.
Some friends aren't just friends, they become your chosen family. They're the ones who stand by your side when the world feels heavy, who laugh with you, cry with you, and lift you higher when you're down. It's not about blood, but about loyalty, trust, and love. Real friends make your heart feel at home, and when you've got that kind of bond, you know you've found your forever family.
So, my forever family, friends that you choose to make family. This has been a rough year for me as far as that goes. But I will say,
all of it.
I will say this. This, like I said earlier, this family, this tribe that we have together is so amazing. And I cannot thank each and every one of you enough. Like I said, with Thanksgiving being tomorrow, I am so incredibly thankful for each and every one of you. I look forward to your comments. I look forward to our discussions. I look forward to talking to you guys each and every day. And I can't thank you enough for always being there for us. And I love you all. Seasoning.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. We do truly appreciate each and every one of you, and we are thankful for all of y'all joining us. It gives us great joy, and we do consider all of y'all part of our family.
Yes.
You're here with us. You give us. You help us. It's truly a pleasure for us, and we couldn't be more grateful. And we'll definitely be thinking about each and every one of you this Thanksgiving. And with that being said, we hope that all of y'all enjoy your Thanksgiving and that you recognize all of the things, all of the blessings that you've been given in your life, and giving that gratitude to receive more as we move forward.
Yes.
Life is looking better more and more each and every day. So let's make sure that we're giving that appreciation to the one who gives it all to us. And we look forward to seeing y'all on Monday, because we're going to take this nice long weekend. We're going to recharge batteries and be hitting the ground running on Monday. But we are going to miss each and every one of you. And we thank you for joining us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X, Rumble, and Pill.net.
And if you haven't already, please take a minute and give us that virtual hug. If you're over on Rumble or YouTube, hit that thumbs up. If you're over on pill.net, take that red pill. If you're over on X, smash that heart. And if you're on Facebook, you have like 7 choices. You can clickety click until you find the one you like. And we really will miss you guys so very much. And we hope each and every one of you have the best and the most blessed Thanksgiving ever.
All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We love you all. Have a great Thanksgiving weekend. We'll see you on Monday. Have a great night. Be safe, and God bless.